Aren't art supplies fun? Let's play. I'm Kathleen Arola-Johnson, and this 5-minute art lesson that you're watching is via Creative Solace Studios. Our focus today in this little journal with these 5 supplies is paper and patterns. Look around and see what kind of papers you have on hand. They might be scrapbooking papers. That's what I store in this bin, scraps from other papers that I've used in bigger projects. They might be painted papers, projects that you have painted or decorated in some kind of a way and you have leftovers that are too beautiful to do away with, or you might have other types of papers on hand. Assemble some that are long enough vertically to fill the length of your journal page. So supply number 1 that I have are scrapbook papers. Supply number 2 is painted papers. Then the third paper that I wanted to choose was some kind of an accent paper, something that stands out in a different way from the others, with a metallic sheen, a sparkle, a handmade paper, something to add variety in there. So I have 3 papers. After that, at the end, I believe I'm going to add some white gesso and then choose some kind of a fiber, yarn or ribbon, something that can hang off the top corner. I'm not positive if this one that I like will be too rigid when I put it in there, and so I have some skinnier ones on hand in case I need to swap it out. I will be using glue, a hole punch, and scissors. Let's think about paper, patterns, texture, and the interplay of different papers and different patterns when they're juxtaposed next to each other. So I'm starting with the scrapbook papers, and I'm going to choose the big one first. The whole large one is not going to show in the finished project, but I would like to have this underneath the rest of them so I have the option of letting it show. And I did choose these papers randomly based on their size. They're not necessarily a color palette that I would have chosen on my own, but it was kind of fun going through my paper stash and seeing which sizes fit the bill of being long enough to cover top to bottom vertical space of my page. I like this one showing out between one, showing out in 2 places. And I like that that one has a bit of a torn edge up there, so I'm going to try to preserve that in the finished project. So there's my scrapbook papers. I would now like my painted paper scrap to have a torn edge, adding some texture, interest, variety. And I'm purposely putting it on top of where 2 papers met so it covers that seam. Now for the other accent paper, I was going to put it over there, but I don't want it on top of another green. So let's go for this location. That's it for the papers. I am okay with a tiny bit of the white showing up there, and I am halfway through my time. So I'm now trimming off the excess that is sticking over the edges. You could leave a little bit hanging off. It depends on your project. And I'll put the link to these previous lessons in the description to this lesson. So I left a little bit hanging off at the bottom. Coming up to the top corner, I'm doing a hole punch and taking a quick look at the page behind it to see that that's going to be okay right there. I hole punched it 3 times in a row because I have this really wide ribbon that I'm trying to fit through there, and I'm not seeing my larger hole punch at the moment. Well, it fits. Let's pull it halfway and tie a double knot. I'm being careful to not pull it too tight because I don't want it to rip that hole up there. Okay, it is sticking upwards, so I'm gonna let it sit for a minute, and I'm probably gonna trim some of that off later. Down to the last 30 seconds. Let's just do a few painted marks with the white gesso. I still want to keep those vertical lines accented. There's an idea for your art journal page or whatever you might be working on. Something that is quick and easy to get you started for the day in a creative way, in a creative mood. Using some sample of whatever kind of papers you have on hand, even if it's something from your junk mail and you can rip up different things or pieces from magazines. It's fun to see the different patterns and colors and textures play off from each other when they are put together into one project. Thank you for joining me and subscribing to Creative Solace Studios.